All right, a key member of the Homeland Security Committee today is calling for the government to increase surveillance on mosques and Muslims in America. Said earlier today.
Should there be more surveillance in the Muslim communities? The answer is yes. And there should not be restrictions put on the police. The reality is solid police work means you go where the threat is coming from, and the threat is coming from the Muslim community.
All right, so would monitoring U.S. mosques better protect American citizens? And why is the Muslim American leadership opposed to the surveillance if they have nothing to hide? Well, joining me right now with analysis is Zuhdi Jasser, American Islamic Forum for Democracy founder and president and co-founder of the Muslim Reform Movement. Dr. Jasser, good to have you back on the show.
It's great to be with you, Trish. Thanks for having me.
So what do you think of this idea of surveilling mosques? Is that a step in the right direction? Is that something that might yield something and help protect the country?
Yeah, you know, Tricia, I can't believe we're still talking about this. We were rallying in front of One Police Plaza in New York back in 2012 saying, yes, we want this. We are Muslims that care about America. We have nothing to hide. This is not about giving up civil rights. It's not about illegal wiretaps. They still need to follow the leads and get permission from courts to do that. What this is about is saying, listen, we have a problem within the Muslim community. It's called radical Islam. It's called political Islam. That's a separatist ideology, a theopolitical ideology. Our police force on the local levels, in the granular levels, need to be doing good work, which is following the leads and knowing that if it happens, it's going to be coming out of the mosque, coming out of the Muslim student associations, etc. Like we've seen so many attack after attack, where like the Boston bombers, the guy was screaming in the mosque. After the fact, they said, oh, yeah, you know, he was acting weird and we kicked him out. But if there had been police there among the parishioners, I think ultimately you may have seen that prevented. And just like that attack, we need to be transparent. By the way, Trish, our mosques are transparent. They're not closed to the public. They're open to the public. So I'm trying to figure out what exactly our community has
the Muslim community doesn't want this. I mean, they see this as infringing on their civil liberties and that this is effectively racial profiling.
Well, I think it's smart police work, and I think those Muslim leaders that are complaining about it are the Islamists who use our community for political separatism and are part of the, I mean, the Brits are way ahead of us. Prime Minister Cameron just came out last week with a report about the conveyor belt, the pipeline between the Muslim Brotherhood, which was based in London, and terror groups, and saying we need to monitor these political groups that are called the Muslim Brotherhood because of how directly they're connected to terrorism. So we need to own up as Muslims and say, you know what, we need help. And yes, they're going to call the FBI when there's hate crimes against Muslims, etc. So why just call them when we're targeted, but not say, you know what, we trust them to be involved and be part of our community so that they can help us root out the radicals within our midst?
Well, you know, yeah, I've made this comparison before on the show. I mean, you think back to the days of the NRA bombings in the UK, and if you were someone from Ireland or someone with a really Irish name like mine, you were going to be more suspect. Or you think about the American mafia, and this is something Peter King pointed out as well. We profiled Italians, or even with the Irish mob here in this country, we profiled people of certain nationalities because that was the prudent thing to do. Is that the common sense approach here? And if so, how do you navigate your way through the political incorrectness of all of it?
Well, we need to get past that and realize that the ideology that threatens us doesn't just happen where they all of a sudden put on the uniforms of ISIS and get the weapons. Long before that, they're putting on the jerseys. They're getting radicalized in a milieu of an environment that may include some of the mosques, that most of which are moderate, nonviolent individuals, but they don't realize that there's a pathway happening of separatism, like the communities in Belgium or in Paris that fostered the recent radicals. So ultimately, part of that is for us Muslims to say, you know what, we're transparent. We want you to be part of our communities and help us root this out. By the way, there's a big difference between mosques and then shutting them down. Shutting them down doesn't work because it pushes them underground. But surveillance, profiling is smart police work, and we should welcome that as a community.
Well, Dr. Jasser, I got to say, I mean, you have been a real standout for your entire community, really stressing the need for more vigilance, and we always appreciate getting your perspective and having you here. Thank you.
Anytime. Thanks, Trish.